but it's all too far in the game, all in the wonderful game that we know as love. You had words with him, and your future's looking dim, but these things your hearts can rise above. Once in a while he won't call, but it's all in the game. Soon he'll be there at your side with a sweet.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another UB Zoomie. With this one being the UB Zoomie, where we'll celebrate Duncan Campbell's time with the band. And if you've been living under a rock and you don't know, Duncan's not been particularly well, and therefore has had to, on medical grounds, hang up his boots from the band. So that came as a bit of a shock to a lot of people this week. But we're going to have a drink tonight, and we're going to celebrate his 13 or so years with the band, bringing us a lot of enjoyment. So you're probably not watching, Duncan, because it's not your thing. But cheers anyway. How you doing, guys?
It's kind of good that he's not watching, because we can really say what we think, can't we?
You really get stuck in. How you doing, Earl?
What do you think you're doing? Lying down in bed? What do you think he's up to?
Who?
Skiving, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Who, me?
Duncan.
Oh yeah, Duncan. Yeah, right. Yeah. I've been in bed though. I've got a bad back. My back's totally bollocksed. But
I'm thinking I'll drop him one by one this lot.
I know.
Yeah.
No, please no. You know, make sure you can still play your bass.
Yeah, well, obviously I can do that lying down in it. So
If you have to, yeah.
We were just saying before we came on air that Duncan is probably the only man I know who can be, we can be running a show which is dedicated to him. It's all about him, and he'd just rather stay at home and read his paper.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. Yeah,
but that's Duncan, isn't it? And he's not. He's an interesting one in terms of his character. I've been lucky enough to spend quite a bit of time with him, and he's a really interesting fella. And he's got a lot to say and a lot to talk about. But then again, he's quite many times he's laid back and quite shy and reserved. But he's not one for technology, and he's not one for capitalism, and he's got his own ways, hasn't he?
Most definitely.
He's eccentric. I think he married B at a very young age, so that's certainly influenced him over the years.
Yeah.
And so he likes to go in the pub. He likes a good drink. He likes a good natter.
Yeah. Well, you two. I mean, it's you and Earl, Jimmy. And Gilly as well. I mean, when you spend a lot of time on the tour bus, and I, for one, know that you guys have your own little group typically that tend to sit in the back room of the tour bus, which is like a little cocoon, I suppose, and you sit and have a drink and whatever else, and you sort of talk the night away. So
smoking the back.
You spent hours and hours with Duncan, haven't you?
Oh yeah, but really, Duncan used to do it on purpose because we knew it wound everybody else up. That's why we used to do it. It's like, what subject shall we hammer into the ground tonight so that the poor cunts are never going to they're not even going to get to see a TV show or even listen to any music. They're going to have to listen to us.
Because they were always having it off.
Yeah, always
arguing about agreeing with each other. That's really weird.
Yeah.
You know what the
biggest
bummer is, though? We're never going to get rid of that Crocodile Dundee hat now.
No, I know, yeah. I'm glad that we snipped the cork stop him while he was asleep.
It's funny. It's funny you should say that, Gilly, about the Crocodile Dundee hat, because earlier today, Matty and I were having some correspondence with Normie and Yoris just to pull some stats together, about things since Duncan joined, and we sort of came to the conclusion that, believe it or not, Duncan has done over 600 shows with UB40. That means 13,500 live songs have been performed by him. He's recorded on 44 tracks. He's visited with the band and performed in 44 countries. and he's got one Crocodile Dundee hat that will never get back.
Yeah.
Right.
Mind-boggling statistics they are, Paul, definitely.
Yeah, well, we'll address them one by one. But good evening to Robin.
Oh, you made it. You made it. Testimonial for your own brother.
Hi, dudes.
You're right.
Had to reboot my computer again.
Me too. That's why everybody only got a 5-minute countdown tonight. But yeah, well, we're just doing the intros, Robin, and saying that it depends how you look at it tonight. It could be quite sad for some people, but then again, you know, with the type of people I think that celebrate the fact that we had the pleasure of you guys working with and spending time with and seeing and listening to Duncan perform over the last 13, probably 14 years, actually.
Yeah.
We'll celebrate that tonight.
No matter which way you slice it, it's still a sad thing that he's got to stop, you know, because given a choice, he wouldn't. But you know, he just feels that he can't continue. He doesn't want to put the pressure on us. Really, he doesn't want us sitting there, you know, waiting for him to guarantee that he can do the show, which you know it's an unfair pressure to put on him.
Yeah.
You know?
And he knows he'd be letting a lot of people down. If he could do it, you know.
Yeah, and that, I think, was so stressful for him that it just became too much, you know. And it's perfectly reasonable for him to feel that way, and for him to make that decision was perfectly reasonable, you know. But still, very sad.
Yeah, but I think, Robin, as we'll talk about Duncan tonight, I'm sure you guys will tell stories, and I have a couple of my own as well. Duncan's an interesting character, and what you've just said, that's the reason, isn't it? He doesn't want to let people down. He'd rather you guys go on and find somebody else, which is, we know that's happening. But he doesn't want to let people down, and he's not into that, is he? He's not the type of person that's into, well, I'll take a chance and I'll see if I can turn up for a few gigs, and if I can't, he'll be thinking, people are working all week, paying their money for a ticket, they're looking forward to it, they want to go out for a drink and they want to see a gig, and if I'm letting them down at the last minute, I'm not in for it. That's his thinking.
It shows that he's not a bullshitter. It shows that it really matters to him whether something can be done or not. It's not about conning your way through it. It's whether you're actually able to do it. So he's always been honest as far as that was concerned. You know, he didn't want to bullshit. He wants to perform well. And if he thinks he can't, then obviously that's going to weigh on him, you know, rather than trying to con his way through it, you know, as some people are known to do. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he's very much a man of his word, and he's got a lot of like, you know, like strong morals, let's say, you know, and like balls that he lives his life by, you know, and it's not surprising that he did come out and say, and like throw, you know, not throwing the towel, but like just say, you know, that he didn't think he was up for it, you know.
Yeah, but come on, Earl. Everybody knows we got rid of him because he wouldn't have the jab.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right, listen, there are some really fucking stupid people out there in the world. That's to say it, you know.
Dear me.
It's given us some amusement, though, this week, if nothing else.
They're still doing it now. They're still coming on Instagram and Twitter saying, you know, that we should never have done that to Matt Hoy.
Yeah, but that's the consequences of the confusion that Ali has sown ever since he left the band. You know, he's
absolutely
confusion. That's what he relies on. You know, people not knowing who they're paying a ticket for. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, funny. Anyway, if people don't know what we're talking about, jump on UB40's Facebook pages and you'll find out. But an imposter who was never in UB40 has been kicked out of a band that's not UB40 for not having a job that he can not have if he chooses he doesn't want to have, or something like that.
The worst of it is we're accused of sacking somebody we never ever employed.
no would ever employ. Let's just put that out there.
Haven't even met. Never mind.
Never met in our lives. Yeah. I have no opinion on really. You know.
Well, listen, when you someone
and
say
having heard him wouldn't employ.
No, well,
oh, was that my outside voice? Sorry.
Yeah, you let that slip then.
Well, someone said on Facebook, you know, you lie with dogs, you get fleas.
Yeah. So, the irony is though that what can they do if they want to be travelling musicians? We're in the same position. Every single one of us has to have the jab, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if we want to travel the world, we've got to be vaccinated. We've got to be immune. You know.
Yeah, but Robin, that's you're right, but that's not the point, is it? The point is how it was dealt with.
Well,
you know what I mean. They could have come out and he could have said, I'm with Ali and Astro or whatever, and I won't be performing with them anymore. And they could have released a statement saying farewell and all the rest of it. But they're idiots, so they don't think ahead and they don't do things like that.
Which they have done now.
Yeah, retrospectively.
2 days later, they've put out a statement to try and make up for the shitstorm they've caused.
Called a knee-jerk reaction.
I have to ask you, Sydney, who's Matt Hoy?
Well, exactly. That would be most people's immediate reaction.
Yeah. People who've been around this band for many, many years as fans, actually, like you, Gilly, have been coming on over the last few days saying, who? That typifies it. But anyway, that's another story for another time. So let's get into some music because, as I said earlier, Duncan's laid down over 40 songs, ironic number, with the band. And the guys have put forward some of their favourite songs. I'm not sure who's put what forward, but I'd like to start with I'm All Right, Jack, because I know that that's a song that Duncan wrote on the most recent Pure UB40 album.
I think that's probably why we chose it, because it is one of the songs he wrote, and it seems only fair that, having contributed by writing lyrics, we use one of the ones that he's done, and it's one of his better ones, I think. Probably the best one.
Yeah, we were all happy with the results of this track.
Absolutely.
It took a while to get there. It didn't happen immediately, but we all knew that when it was ready, and it sounds great. It's all of a piece, really good.
And just to make everybody aware, during this song, or just as it's coming to an end, we'll be ending the stream, which goes out on Facebook and other social media channels. So if you want to watch the rest of tonight's show, then get across to the UB40 app, because we've got, I'm not quite sure what yet, but when we're talking about Duncan, there's just guaranteed to be funny stories of falling on ships and carrying on and jokes and bar fights and God knows what else. Because
are you going to ruin every story, Paul?
I think it looks like it. Yeah.
Matt, let's play it.
You give me your hard luck story. I don't care now, you voted for me. I know austerity's breaking your back, but I'm alright, Jack. Don't complain that there's no state housing. I bought mine, made a profit of thousands. There's not many left, but I can't help that. But I'm alright, Jack. Say everything's going just fine. You're struggling, I know, but even so, I'm sick of hearing you whine. Don't you tell me you can't get a house. I've got two and I'm renting one now. Okay, private landlords are holding you back, but I'm alright, Jack. Don't stop moaning or don't pay taxes. All of my scams, they are legal practice. I'm entitled, you can't have it back. And I'm alright, Jack. I'm alright, Jack. I'm alright, Jack. I'm doing okay, there's no more to say. Everything's going just fine. You're struggling, I know, but even so, you don't have to moan all the time.
Hey, Mr. MP, how you going, so? You don't know, so your job is to feed the people. How come you feed off of the people? So last year, I know your time coming around, boy, you have some questions for an answer, you know. You gone too rich, man. Sure. It must be nice to be able to buy the house where you want. It must be nice to be able to buy the car where you want. It must be nice to be able to book the flight where you want and fly around the world and do whatever you want. It must be nice to be able to book the hotel where you want. Nice to be able to call a cab when you want. It must be nice to be able to book the best restaurant and eat and drink whatever you feel for and want.
I'm doing okay, there's no more to say. Everything's going just fine. You're struggling, I